Peace, love, and light, everybody. I don't know if this is a... Oh, I like that one. Okay. So, I just wanted to go live because I'm getting ready to do somewhat of a presentation. You guys know I don't really prepare for anything. Imagine if I did. Because as Blu-rays, you know, we're all about learn, teach. And I'm realizing that all the things that I learned the past 15 years and realizing that all of the conspiracy theories were just all to keep you down a rabbit hole and not realize like they're never going to tell you the truth, like you're never going to know the truth, so it's the point. You just have to use your discernment, and then from your discernment, what happens? Like, all you realize is it doesn't matter what exactly they lied about, that they lied. If they can lie about one thing or two things or three things, they admit to lying, then they're liars. That's what they are. They are just liars. They've lied. They've lied about everything, even down to what this system is. This is not a democracy. Like, that's another thing. We gotta start looking into etymology. It was another thing that I studied for a reason. Okay, that's how we're gonna break these spells, Blu-rays. We're going to teach people the true spelling, the true words, like even like it's a weekday and it's a weekend and like good morning. And I know there's so many people who are like, oh, I'm so sick of people saying grand rising or whatever. Well, I'm not mourning, so I'll just say like good rising or whatever if I have to, or I'll substitute. But it's definitely in what you say first. And if they knew that the original language is so far from Latin or Greek, which is what English is based on, like even when you say things, for instance, like Jesus, you're saying Hail Zeus, because it's Latin, it's not Aramaic, it's not Hebrew. There was no J, only a Y. And they say that is the true language of God, because it came from sacred gematria, it came from the stars. It transcended language. That's what the story of the Tower of, what is it, Babel or Babylon or whatever they call it, how, you know, the Lord said, nope, you're not getting up there, and we're just going to scatter you all over and everybody's going to speak a different language. No, that was also like the M's who wrote that aspect of that book to tell you, like, we didn't even, like, it's tell you we're so far removed from the original language. Like, that's why I keep telling you guys, it doesn't matter. That's like the coolest part of the twin flame journey too. You get to practice telepathy on somebody, like consciously and openly. And you know, you're it's not about what you're saying. It's not even about what I'm saying. It's about what's in between. The light codes, what you hear in the ethereal, on what dimension, I don't know. You hear what Monica's saying right now, but usually people that find me or I attract them, like, we're leveling up and we're growing consciously, just from our light code. I know sometimes this was a big growth journey for me, like from the generation I was in. Like, you always have to keep moving, you always have to keep working, or you're not doing anything. Like, honestly, when I used to think about ego-wise, like how am I going to continue with my mission physically and this and that. And I would start non-for-profits. I would start like grassroots shit. I would fight injustice any way that I can. Hey, how you doing? Just talking shit about what's been going on and how we're gonna have a little role in it, and it's not gonna be what we think. we're too precious and genuine for this bullshit. So they have nowhere to go. I'm basically saying they have nowhere to go now because they've lied so much that they're trying to pull a totalitarianism move, meaning forcing us into a one party. Because if you think about it, I don't adhere to any of it. It's a world stage, and none of us should be at this point. But I still have tons of friends that are still adhering to this, and they even saw how ridiculous and how false flaggy it was when he got blickied. You know who I'm talking about. Mr. Casino got blickied, and you know, but then again, then they talk to somebody that is watching the television or still adhering to. See, that's how you know it's bullshit from the beginning. Like last year when I told somebody about, they're like, no, it's not. It's a one-party system, what you're talking about. They control political factions and they lean on the private sector. Okay, well, the other one, the Biden, the potato guy, he's a potato. What do we have to do? They made a we're not a two-party system, dude. We are bigger than a two-party system. That's how you know, yeah, Donald Trump is the truth so much. He didn't tell you that. Like, they don't tell you anything. They don't tell you that you have to be invited by the Koch brothers and that they pay for the presidential debates. We saw that with Ralph Nader. Like, we didn't see any of that. So basically now we've got this two-party system, which they're the same entity. They're the same faction. They're the same political faction, whatever you want to call them. Who these people, yeah, they're the same exact faction. So what they've done is, this is all controlled and predictive programming. So they've kind of like forced us into, because everybody's been waiting for a savior, and this all ties into religion as well, because these people are Ashkenazi, like Canaanites, what they call Jews. And they're the ones that decided what was going to go into that Old Testament. And they wrote the New, and they had their own council, and that was like all bullshit too. But it doesn't matter, whatever this faction is. So basically, you have, these are your choices. And this is where people are from. And my girlfriend Love Naya said it, like, I'm so sick of this, well, he's better than this one. But literally, that's how they made people think, instead of just saying, let's go start our own party. Let's do our own thing. Like, let's not vote at all. But they were going to make it so there would be no voting. And now I see what they're doing. So you either have a choice to vote for a pedophile or support, because your voting really doesn't matter. We saw that as well during air aids. So you got a pedophile, or you have a man that is supposed to be looked at as a savior, okay? Now, that's totalitarianism. Everybody thought, a lot of us were speculating that it was going to be Project Bluebeam, that they were going to like show a religious figure in the sky wherever it was. It could be a Christ, a Buddha, like a Shiva, like a Muhammad, like whatever. But no, all they did was create a false flag, and now this man is an even bigger like savior because he got shot, and look at him. And it's like, I've seen people get shot in the ear, and he's been he has been attempted to be assassinated like 6 or 7 times before. And when they heard it, you should have heard how they were on it. This was just extra, and it was very, very false flaggy. And then, of course, already starting with the memes of him, like the fascism starting. Like, and if you guys haven't read 1984, I would, because they talk about the police state. And remember, the police state is just not the presence of the police, it's the surveillance, and it's the surveillance from everywhere. Okay, so now what they're going to do is they're using the private sector to push us into this person, because they're going to be like, oh my God, because they already think he's like one of us, and he, you know, he cares about us, and but no, he doesn't. He is a delete as well. Like, you know, come on, he was The Apprentice. Like, he is Trump for a reason, because Trump is money, casinos. Like, do we forget? Like, why do you guys think that he is not? why do you like you gotta look at what he practices and celebrates. Like, he's with all of them. It's one big party and we're not invited. So it didn't matter who it was going to be this year or a few years ago. It just mattered that their plan was set in place. And that the biggest false flag besides this one that just happened last night was that George Floyd false flag. Besides 9/11 was big too, but that George Floyd shit was just crazy. Like, was that shit not crazy or what? Like, they literally threw him on a gurney. Like, they didn't even, like, put him together and all that for, like, what? Come on. And they made a big deal out of it for what? Come on. I mean, and there was even a lawyer that came out and said, George Floyd is, he's been dead for a few years now. That was his brother, who they are M's. So, that's the thing. The private sector, this is why I wanted to watch the video, and I think I'll do it in a little bit, because the private sector, because they could push us into a personal savior, one that is as well religious, and then once they got us, they got us. I mean, we didn't learn this from Mussolini. We didn't learn this from the OSS, from Russia, from their false flags. I mean, you just got to do some research. Like, we are not above this. They have mistaken, now they're going to use patriotism to, how do you say it? Like, get us on board with this. Like, oh my God, our president was shot at. And as an American, as a patriot, it's like, like, a true patriot is somebody that believes in sovereignty, in human sovereignty. Like, if you look in the Black's Law Dictionary before the 9th edition, human being, like, at one time it was like defined as monster. It's not even in the 9th, the newest one that I have, but citizen is. Not even sovereign being, but citizen is. And citizen is basically a proprietorship, a property, a piece of property. And, that's a whole nother thing. But so, yeah, I want to do a little presentation and kind of jog everybody up, because they seem to be kind of awakening to the fact that this is a world stage. And if you don't see that this is a world stage and you're still fighting for the same chicken, just a different like arm or feather of that chicken, then you are not conscious. I lost spiritual friends a few years ago on Beagle because they just wouldn't get off the Trump train. And I think he had everybody fooled until we saw that how he dealt with the air aids. That was terrible. He didn't pardon anybody good. He only pardoned federal informants. Yeah, it's a big club. We're not invited. Are you invited to Mar-a-Lago this week coming up? Did Trump invite you personally? Yeah, they're already starting the bullshit. So the fascism's already starting, as well as the totalitarianism. And we're going to watch that video, because that's not a word that we hear much, because it hasn't really come into fruition until now. And I'm going to explain to you guys like how they slowly have been pushing us there, and what it really is, and how it was predicted, and where it is in history, and where it is now. And it should not even be a two-party system. Now we're about to have one. Like, people are so embarrassed to even say that they're this party, Democrat, or because of the potato Joe smelling people and being a pedo. Like, that's what we have to choose from. Like, to other countries, this is embarrassing, because we look stupid because we're not a two-party system. We're not. And I was talking about that earlier, and then they tried to show you, like, they make you think like with the Black Panthers, like, oh, you had to be a socialist party, or you have to be a communist in order to start your own party. No, you don't. Like, we literally can start our own party, and we have to stop looking at the large faction of this, because that's the world stage. That's the not nilks. That's a false reality, doing the work on ourselves. Meaning, how about this? working on our local government by ourselves. Like before, it was just me alone, and I mean, I had people after me for trying to change things or whatever, but now is the time where people like us, like the righteous, Gail, get in here, we move into those positions. And those positions of, I don't even like to say power, of peacekeeping over the people. That's it, like peacekeeping over the people. And we're going to be the ones that are going to step into that, but it's going to get really ugly. Like, we're not even in the golden age yet. And that's another thing with totalitarianism. They use the golden age, they use all that shit. When you hear talks of that, you know totalitarianism's coming. When there's more satire and they laugh at everything, like the SNLs, they make a joke out of everything about them being Satanists and pedos. Whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. It's the narrative that they've created for a reason. It's all to divide and conquer, to keep our minds enslaved away from the fact that they've made us a two-party system. And we haven't even, they've made fun of anybody else who's tried independently. We saw what they did to Ralph Nader years ago, like 20 years ago. They even did a documentary on it. Where did he go? Like, my girlfriend Love Naya is looking for Bobby Hemmett. Where's Bobby Hemmett? When he you know how much he taught me about true magic with the CK and occultism and shit like that. Like, where is he? Truly, where is he? This infamous Linda taking care of him, you know? So I really feel like we need to be educated on what totalitarianism is, and that we are truly in fascism at this point, especially with these pictures and the patriotism and the, you know, remember how it was after 9/11? It was like they were ready, and they didn't even realize that it was all planned. Like, it was all planned so we can take some shit over. And, you know, I believe we left everything there because there is no really like legal president acting right now. This shit is just, I don't know how it's running, but it's like running on bureaucracy. But there's some weird shit going on right now. And I mean, if you guys have seen those 70s movies, they're kind of religious, like Image of the Beast, and I can't remember. I'll put them in here though. But they tell you how it's going to go, and it's always this one. It's one savior. We need a savior. So they're pushing us into a one-party system at this point. You can fucking make up your own party and call it the Wazoo Party if you would like to, but you will be an enemy of America. You will be, you know, or maybe not. Maybe these times are different. Maybe that was to scare us, because then they killed everybody in the Black Panthers. It scared the shit out of us, and they showed us what they could do with Ralph Nader. Like, if you want to create your own, you know. But I've been seeing like videos of whole towns like taking over their whole council. That's what I'm talking about. Taking over school boards and councils, and like finding out where this money is coming from, like how these M's are really connected with millionaires, and they have their own little thing going on. And there's a whole reset going, especially in very poor areas, tourist areas. You know, we're going down that road to the Hunger Games style. And that's another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, how the chosen, how we have to stay protected right now. And we cannot be those people up there, like the first ones to get the thing, like the hair plug people. Like, let them go first. Let the dummies go first. Like, let them, because you've been fasting and working on yourself to stay calm for a reason, for this time. And in Niagara, the police state, meaning the surveillance as well, is going to kick up a notch, but nothing's going to happen to us here besides what's already happened, like for 40 years, the war with the drugs killing us, like slowly, and it kicked up a notch, like just wild. And but there are certain things that we have to do to keep ourselves under the radar, protected. Don't fraternize with the wrong people. People are snitches, even these children. You know, and you have to keep yourself protected, because you are the future for these children. You're going to write those books, the real deal. Like, you are going to rewrite true our story, not his story, because patriarchy is falling as well.
I got this plastic thing too for your recycling if you want.
You got the, okay. Is that for me or you?
You said there was only one in the freezer.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, but I told you to throw a second one in there.
Oh,
Twice.
okay. It's all right. I'll do another
Here,
one.
put
No,
some
it's fine. We can share.
You said I'm gonna put
People
one.
don't like to share with me.
You said I'm gonna put that one in the. You said I'm gonna put one in the freezer.
I like messing with them.
And you're like, no,
Ah.
just one. I said, no, I want one for me too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you, baby. So I'm going to use his tablet and pull up this really great video and a few articles so I can explain to you guys what the difference between communism, a dictatorship, and totalitarianism is, because we haven't heard that word often, but it is here now. So I started with the air aids. When they start to press on the private sector, that's, it's all technicality. Like, they didn't literally say, like, you can't tell people they can't work here if they don't get this shot, but they did. They said, we'll fine you, we'll do this. And some people fought back, and I thought that was like the beginning of people like really fighting back. It was just their tests, like they did Event 201. They were telling us how the world was with this, how they were going to get through it, like what to expect, because this was such a new project. They won't ever do that again, because exactly, and these memes and all of that, and this savior complex shit, and this false idol worship, it's all like coming in together. And what else you got? You got two weirdos. It should be, like I said, more than a two-party system. That should be common sense. It's another thing, chosen. Common sense is not so common. So if there was a true person that was for you, that was really draining the swamp, they would tell you what to do to empower yourself. They would tell you about what citizenship means. They would tell you about the straw man. They would tell you about the legalese. They would tell you about true history. Like, what is he like? He's not like me. I can't relate with that dude. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I'm going to do that in a little bit. Thanks for hanging in with me. Stay peace, stay love, stay light, and start your research on your own if you don't already know. But it looks like we're going to have to go back to Truther 101. And in fairness, totalitarianism is not something that's really talked about. And they don't really tell you guys what really happened with like France, Italy, and Germany, and Russia. So yeah, stay peace, love, and light. How do you stop it? Do you just like stop it?